Welcome to Asian ID. The internet waits, breath held between anticipation and obsession, as if an unseen storm is gathering just beyond the horizon. But is it really just a drama people are waiting for, or something far more intimate and unspoken? What kind of story could ignite such urgency that nearly 1 million people would line up before a single frame is even complete? And what does that say about the quiet hunger buried deep within modern hearts? When the cameras first rolled on April 16 in Dali, beneath a sky that seemed too unreal to hold such expectations, two figures stood side by side, smiling beneath flashing lights. But were they merely actors stepping into roles, or reflections of something audiences desperately wish to believe? In the rapid surge of reservations, from hundreds of thousands to nearly 1 million in mere days, feels less like marketing success and more like emotional momentum. But what invisible thread pulls so many people toward the same story at the same time? Perhaps the answer lies not in numbers, but in memory, because their previous works were not just dramas but shared emotional experiences that lingered long after the screen faded to black. So is this anticipation really about the new story, or about reliving a feeling once thought lost in one story? They embodied a love that stretched across 13 silent years, where longing spoke louder than confession, and in another, they became adversaries bound by desire and suspicion. So how come two people shift between tenderness and tension so seamlessly that audiences forget where fiction DS? Their chemistry has long escaped the boundaries of scripted lines, spilling instead into glances, pauses, and gestures that feel almost too natural. So when viewers watch them, are they witnessing performance, or something that blurs dangerously close to us? Behind-the-scenes moments only deepen this illusion, where a tug of a sleeve, a shared laugh, or an unconscious lean into each other creates a narrative no script could design. But why do these fleeting fragments resonate more deeply than entire episodes? Is it because, in a world saturated with exaggerated romance and predictable tropes, people have grown tired of love that feels manufactured, and instead crave something quiet, something imperfect, something real? The story of Good Rain knows its season offers exactly that, a meeting between two intimate souls who do not collide in chaos, but rather drift toward each other like rain finding earth. So is healing perhaps more powerful than passion? A single mother carrying both strength and solitude, and a man whose cold exterior hides a softness he barely understands, come together not through dramatic twists, but through a shared silence. So could it be that the deepest connections are built not on words, but on understanding? Set against the serene landscapes of Dali, where mountains stand still and water flows endlessly, the environment itself becomes a quiet witness to their transformation. But does nature reflect their healing, or does it simply remind us how small human pain can be? Even the smallest details, the soft green tones of clothing, the warmth of textures, the contrast between light and shadow, whisper stories of who they are before they ever speak. So how much of what we feel is shaped by what we see rather than what we hear? The director's delicate touch turns every frame into something almost poetic, capturing not just beauty, but vulnerability, and in doing so, reveals a truth often overlooked. So is it possible that love is not about perfection, but about being seen at your most fragile? In a market flooded with exaggerated fantasies, powerful CEOs, contract marriages, revenge arcs, this story usually steps aside, refusing spectacle in favor of sincerity. But why does simplicity feel so revolutionary today? Maybe it is because audiences are no longer searching for escape, but for recognition, for something that mirrors their own quiet struggles and unspoken loneliness. So could this drama be less about entertainment and more about emotional reflection? As expectations rise and anticipation swells, one question lingers beneath it all, heavier than any plot twist or romantic climax, and that is whether this story can truly deliver the feeling people are chasing, or whether it will simply remind them of what they lack. Because in the end, what people are waiting for may not be the story itself, but the possibility of believing in something gentle again, something that heals instead of breaks, something that stays instead of fades. But can any story truly carry that weight? And when the final scene eventually arrives, when the rain stops and the screen goes dark, will the audience walk away satisfied, or will they find themselves staring into the quiet, asking not what happened to the characters, but what has happened to themselves? Thank you for watching the video. See you again.